Oh, I guess I'm one of those people that likes to have a cup of coffee first thing in the morning. And then a second, and maybe a third. That's where I was working up to late last night. Video file management. But we need to get going. We have a full day ahead, walking the streets and climbing the towers of Old Town TALLIN. But first, it's Sunday morning. Let's get breakfast. If you watched my last video, you saw that I checked into the studio apartment I rented here. Morning. Well, it's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Tallinn, Estonia. As I walk to get breakfast, and look at this. We have a robotic delivery maybe somewhere. So the plan here for me today is I've got a free day. No travel or transit, which is nice. Right now it's about 7:15 a.m. and I'm going to go find some place to get breakfast, and then the plan is pretty much to do some sightseeing here in the Old Town of Tallinn, which is just a remarkable, beautiful, well-preserved medieval town. A bit touristy, of course, but nevertheless, just a wonderful place to visit that not that many people who've never been to this part of Europe really know about. This is funny. We have one after the other robotic deliveries. I've seen these a lot on the campus of UC Irvine, but I've never seen them before really this active on a city street. Some of the architecture here on the edge of Old Town. There's three of them up here. I've seen two or three behind me. I love these funky trams. There's quite a restaurant scene here in Tallinn, and we'll see that throughout the day as we go through the Old Town. But lots of different eclectic restaurants offering different types of cuisine, and there's just no shortage of places to find excellent meals here. You have to be mindful of these bikeways on a lot of cities in Europe. Here's a designated, the one in the red is a designated bike path. You don't want to be walking in there because people will be coming speeding by, and they do get a little upset when pedestrians are in their way. This is one of the streets that leads into the Old Town. We'll take this up a little bit later. All right, having eaten a large breakfast at one of the local hotels here, I am ready to start exploring the medieval Old Town. One of the first things you're greeted with is this nice flower market. This was one of the original gates into the town with the medieval wall and two towers. And in a little while we'll try to walk part of the medieval wall, which is always pretty interesting. We've got a McDonald's right here at the gate, but fortunately it's about unique as far as a chain or a fast food restaurant goes in the Old Town. I'm not an expert on Tallinn. I've been here a couple of times before and walked around. That was before I started this YouTube channel. But I'm at least a little familiar with the layout of the town and some of the more interesting features to it. It's 9:30 a.m. on Sunday. So still kind of quiet. I guess the town is starting to come alive a little bit. Another popular restaurant is called Old Hansa, and it's in this old medieval building. I'm going to see if there's any signage or any information about that building. But you can see some of the old medieval structures here. That is the town hall there. We'll look at that more closely in a minute. Let's see, there's something here in English. So this building is the packing house. According to the tradition, before the fire of 1288, the old marketplace housed the first town hall. Thereafter, 3 granaries were built there. In 1654, the gable of the northernmost of them collapsed. The triple granary complex was reconstructed into the city's packing house, in line with the Gothic gable-roofed building tradition. The fire of 1288, so you can see how old this medieval town is. But this is, I guess, the packing house. Looks like that's where they would, I don't know what they would do, but they would either lift or lower items from that window up there. Not sure about this building. IHS, National Monument. So I should mention that the whole entire Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And then each of these structures, of course, has its own history and function, historical function. Now we're entering the central square or marketplace. You know, these old medieval towns typically had a central market where people would bring their goods to sell, you know, whether it's produce or crafts or anything else, into the market. But this is just a beautiful, classic market square, extremely well preserved. Now, of course, this is a this is a tourist destination. So that's part of the reason that it looks as nice as it does. But it's just amazing to be here. And I will actually, in 2 days, I'll be taking a guided tour of this whole town myself. And I'll probably take more video during that, and we'll learn a lot more during that. But I didn't want to waste this day. I wanted to get out here on my own, especially on a relatively quiet Sunday, and take as much footage as I could. Okay, here, Tallinn Town Hall. Looks like Monday through Friday you can actually go inside. Well, actually, June 1st to August 31st, every day, 11 to 1800. Oh, okay. Since we're before 11, I'll come back here later and see if I can go inside and possibly even up into the tower. I love climbing the stairs up into these old towers. So this walk this morning is going to be totally random. I don't have a predetermined route to take. I've got a map with me that lists all the historic sites. It's going to be hard for me to keep referencing that while I'm filming. So I'm going to take a more or less a random walk. You can see the bars and restaurants here, giving people a pleasant dining experience right on the town square. Oh, actually a Baskin-Robbins, so that's an exception to the lack of chain eating establishments here. Now, Tallinn is also a cruise port. So I don't know about today, but there's always the possibility that a cruise ship will be dumping thousands of people into the town. I've been there when that happens, and it's just something you have to kind of tolerate. You know, it gets more crowded, and there's a bunch of tour groups being led by someone carrying a flag. And I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it does kind of detract from the quaintness, you know, and the more quiet experience of walking the town on your own. I'm a little bit familiar with this street because on my last visit, I stayed at a hotel down here in one of these medieval buildings, and it was really cool. Oh, this is interesting. This looks like a protest against the Russian-Ukrainian situation here. Of course, Estonia. Estonia is very close to the Russian border. I mean, it borders Russia. This Meriton Old Town Garden Hotel is where I stayed once on my last visit 4 years ago. So here's an example. Olive's Guild, first mentioned in 1341, was a guild for the handy craftsmen of 28 smaller guilds, most of whom were Estonians involved in building and transport. So this is the guild hall. We see here this morning several small tour groups, obviously not from a cruise ship, or more or less of kind of a local nature. It could be that, like in many of these cities in Europe, independent people conduct these tours, very casual, informal tours, basically for free, and then of course you tip them afterwards. So that could be what we're seeing here today. And in fact, that's something I might want to join later today or perhaps tomorrow. I'm going to break off here and walk a little further, and then I'll pick back up when there's something noteworthy or something I'd like to explain. So stay tuned. Well, here's something interesting. KGB prison cells. All right, KGB prison cells. We are open, come in. Well, I'm not going to take a tour or anything, but I'm interested to just peek inside. No, they're not open. I think there is a larger KGB museum in Tallinn, because I don't know much, but the Soviet KGB did have a large presence and influence in Tallinn. Now here's a tour group that does look like it is possibly from a cruise ship. But not necessarily an American one. You see the Estonian flag, the blue, black, and white. I don't know what the symbolism of that is, but that's what the flag looks like. I notice that there's some buildings that are in some stage of reconstruction or refurbishment, and that's one of them there. This building has first been mentioned in early Tallinn Land Registry in 1364 as a corner building. Built in late Gothic style, the estate belonged to merchants, including those who belonged to the town council during 14th to 19th centuries. Okay. I mean, you could literally spend a whole week here, going up and down these streets and looking at each of the buildings. And looking at all of the details here, like this door. And this basement door, you know, I guess they would have stored something down there. The architecture and the detail is just amazing. And here is another one of the medieval gates into the town. And then beyond that, of course, this would be the more modern city. And in this direction is the port of Tallinn. So this would be a way of walking up to the port area. I want to stay within the medieval town here as much as possible. Let's see what is written over here. Oh, I can't really read that. Here's another one. This is the Great Coastal Gate, first mentioned in 1359. Was the most important gate of the Hanseatic town Tallinn. It was the main route for traffic between the port and the market square. Above the gateway stands an impressive dolomite carving bearing Tallinn's coat of arms. The main gate, which was erected in the 14th century in line with town wall, was in its final shape a rectangular tower with 6 stories. Very cool. Oh, that's the coat of arms that was mentioned. Here's a place where we can walk along the medieval wall and its towers. Gruzbeki Tagun Torn. Tower behind Gruzbeki. The tower was built in the beginning of the 15th century in one stage. Its name refers to the owner of a nearby plot. The tower has 3 floors and a 3/4 circular layout. So these are there's the door and the steps up to that tower. It looks like it possibly is open on certain days or certain times of the day for people to go up and explore the tower. I love these old medieval walls. So fascinating to go exploring them and to realize that you're looking at structures from possibly the 1200s, 1300s, and they're still standing. Another tower right here, Epping Tower, is older than either of the two neighboring towers. Construction took place in the second half of the 14th century. Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. Another tower that you can walk up, it looks like. Built in the beginning of the 15th century. Well, I would walk up it, but there is a closed door, probably locked, not open at the moment. Probably later today or sometime tomorrow I'll be able to walk up one or more of these towers. Ahead is St. Olaf's Church.
Let's check first of all if they have a room because I was here really if not, oh, yeah, if not, I was
I like being able to just walk the streets of a place like this at my own pace. Not necessarily worried about reading every plaque, every sign, knowing everything there is to know about each place, but rather just exploring in a random way and being able to stop and look at things of particular interest. And if you ever get lost, eventually just keep walking and you'll get back into the town square.
But 10.50 in front, look, next to Troika, the yellow building.
We've got nice weather now. It's 63 degrees Fahrenheit. Sun is peeking out from some high clouds.
Kuidas sa taastad, sest et need on kõik ära ju.
Here's the tourist information office at 4 Kula Sepa. Time to go up into the tower of the town hall. I think this lady right here will take care of us. Hello.
Hello.
I would like to go up the tower.
tower here is it's
Okay.
young. Korean. May balloon.
Thank you. And here we go. Okay, I've come to a fork in the road. Looks like this is the main way. Let's keep going. Well, climbing up the steps, I come to this feature. It says here in a recess at the height of 77 steps, you can see a toilet of the tower guard. It was connected to the toilet system of the building and is in a good condition even today. Well, there you go. I mean, literally, there you go. Still climbing, and the steps are getting steeper and steeper. To the point where it's kind of difficult to get up the steps. Just be aware of that if you want to visit the Tallinn Town Hall, top of the tower. Well, it appears we've reached the top. I think. Here's a bell. It says, "Congratulations, you have made it to the belfry of the Town Hall Tower at the height of 34 meters from the ground. Enjoy the charming view of Tallinn extending before you from the roofs of the old town to the new residential districts. The tower was constructed together with the town hall in 1402 to 1404. The original Gothic pyramidal spire was replaced by a late Renaissance spire in 1627. Wow. This is really cool. Now, there's an additional ladder going up there, and I would take that, but there's a closed door up there, so I believe this is the end of the line. Let's look out the windows. All right, let's head back down. And I seriously hope we don't encounter anyone else coming up, or else we'll have a problem. And look at this, folks. This is pretty steep. I am holding onto the rope for dear life. Excuse me. I think it's a little trickier going down than it is going up. There's the tower guard's toilet again. Good to know it's there just in case. Come on up.
Thanks.
Thank you, dear. Well, that was fun. Behold, the medieval town. Oh, there we go. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Delicious. Hey, that's not the end of our walk. I just had to break it up into 2 videos. There's more to come in the next video, and it's linked in the description and on your screen. See you over there.